Hi there, Dred again, and this is how you test a battery. The first thing we do is to check the voltage. Oh, 0.86. That's not looking good. That is dead, dead, dead. Well, before we can do anything more with this battery, I need to try and charge it. Now, a quick word about chargers. Smart charger, kind of a bad idea. The problem with smart chargers is a lot of times they're too smart for their own good. That's why I go old school. Now I can see my charging voltage is way off the end of the gauge. That means this thing's so dead it doesn't even know it's a battery. So I'm going to flip it down to 2 amp and I'm going to go away for a while. Now, being as this battery has been sitting for a while, the smart thing to do would be to check the water levels. Ooh, looking at some light there, that's no good. I gotta add some distilled water to this. Now, okay, this is what it should look like. Water should be up to that plastic tube on the inside. And that is not what it should look like. Now, this one's okay because the plates themselves are entirely submerged, so they haven't been damaged. Now, I have my charger on a 40 amp setting, and at that rate, to bring this battery all the way back up, it's probably going to be about 6 hours. So I'm going to come back later to actually do a load test. Now, to be perfectly fair, this battery is over 6 years old. So for me to reasonably expect it to come back is kind of silly. But I'm going to do it anyways, just to show you what the process is. Okay, so this battery has been on the charger a little over an hour. There's our charging voltage. Kicks that off. Okay, the charger's off now. And the rest voltage of the battery sitting at about 12.5 volts, and that's pretty much normal for a decent battery. So that's an excellent indication that there are no bad cells. But if I really want to know, I'll put a load on it. Now the voltage is down to 8.6, 8.5. Now we let it off. Let's see what it comes back to. If it comes back to over 12 volts, then we know that there are no dead cells in this battery. And it's got a pretty good chance of coming back. And we've recovered at 12.08 volts. A very good sign. Now, at this point, certainly with the charger on, the car would start up just fine and run. But a battery this old, it's not dependable. It should be replaced anyways. Now, that load test came out so good that I'm going to go ahead and check the battery with a hydrometer. Now, on a battery this drained, what we're looking for here is not so much particular values, but evenness. Yeah, it's not enough to even float the needle on that one. Same there. Same there. Same there. Same there. And the same there. Now, if there had been a big difference between the cells, that indicates a bad cell and the battery's junk. Of course, we know it's junk anyway, so what's the point? But that's how you check it. And ideally, the needle would be up here in this range. That is provided that the battery is fully charged. Now, if you have a battery that has a window, there's a little green bead that'll be visible in that window when the battery is fully charged. If you charge it and charge it and charge it, and you never see that green bead, just buy a battery. Well, it's been on the charger hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half. So now, the charger is off. Settling down, still almost 13 volts. Let's see what happened. Yeah, the voltage was up, but there was no capacity there. So, back on the charger. Now, there's also a real easy way to check the condition of the battery connections while I'm here. Now, there's a lot of current going into charging that battery right now, so if there's a bad connection here between the wire to the ground terminal and the center post, there'll be a voltage, and we got nothing. And on the positive side, the same thing. So I know for a fact that we've got good connections. Now, this voltage drop technique can be used across ignition switches anytime that you suspect that you have a bad connection. Like I can go from the post here to the engine block and check the voltage. 0 volts. I know that that wire is good all the way to the engine block. Same here. I can check it to the body. 0 volts. It's good. Because if there were any resistance there, I'd have read a voltage. Well, had to take a break from the car because apparently Momo wants to play ball. Is that right, Momo? You want to play ball? When Momo wants to play ball, you play ball. Little sidetrack here about battery safety. Now, come on, there we go. Okay, sorry about that. All right, in case you wondered, those little bubbles, those bubbles are made of hydrogen and oxygen. Now, what those bubbles mean is that there is hydrogen and oxygen coming out of this battery in the perfect proportions to rejoin themselves, sometimes quite violently, and become water. Always. Working around a battery. Gloves. I know I wasn't wearing them earlier in the video. Save it for the comments. Anyways, gloves. If you do get acid on your hands, don't wipe it on your clothes. Unless you're wearing polyester, there's a good chance that when you go to wash them, you're going to have a hole there. So, just a little bit of chemistry here. Alright. Well, we've been on the charger the better part of 5 hours now. And the charger has been consistently at about 15 to 20 amps. And just as I suspected, still haven't managed to get that little pointer onto the scale. But when I did a load test on it, it only went down to 8 volts. So we're going to try it again. Well, I warned you, that battery's junk. Anyways, if the battery had a chance of coming back to life, the amp meter would have shot over to around 40 amps, but it never went above 20. So that battery just barely knows it's still a battery. Now, sure enough, when I put the charger on this, it fired right up. So the next step, check the charging port. I'll make another one on parasitic draw, but there's no way to do parasitic draw testing on a color.